What we're doing, guys, welcome to the preview and the predicted lineup. Burnley against Arsenal. And listen, we're back for another week of the Premier League. We're back for another week of football. And I'm looking forward to it. As you know, this weekend we're going to another game, another big game. We're at Burnley, and now it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be an easy game, you know. Burnley are that kind of team where they're going to do what they did to us or to what they did to Liverpool. Stick everyone behind the ball and defend for their lives, and they will take a point. Because from a Burnley perspective, they're not going to want to have a look at it at the end of the season and think to themselves, we went down on goal difference because we got battered 4-0 by Arsenal, for example. Obviously, I look at this game and I'm contemplating whether, you know, I think, you know, we're going to go keep a clean sheet, this and that. All the talk is apparently how Scott Parker says in some sort of interview about how it's not going to be a nice day for Arsenal, this and that, and he can shut his gob and all, you know. He can shut his mouth and all, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, right, well, we're top of the Premier League, we're top of the Champions League, through to the quarterfinals of the League Cup, you know, and we've still got FA Cup action to play. So the league title's not over if we lose the game. But obviously I don't want to lose the game. You know, I want to come out of there with 3 points and get the fuck out of there, you know. And then we move on to the international break, actually. I should name our Slavia Prague first and then international football. Yay. And then we come back, we play Sunderland. Then we got the North London derby at home. Interesting game, that one. And then we go away to Chelsea. So some big games coming up, you know, and some big players coming back as well, you know. The likes of Noni Madueke, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, Martinelli, Saliba, all coming back for that. I'm looking at that, you know, you're probably contemplating whether, you know, what team to go with, you know. And obviously, I think the team selection for this game is quite straightforward, you know. And with the notable absences that I just mentioned to you, this and that, another one, Gabriel Jesus, you know, they won't be available for the game, obviously, for reasons about the injuries and this and that. But listen, I'm not sitting here no more, and I'm not worrying about how injuries are, you know. We're not having to throw the likes of Rob Holding in a centre-back anymore, you know. We don't have to throw the likes of Eddie Nketiah up front, you know. We don't have to be playing the likes of fucking Raheem Sterling on the wing. So, you know, we now have players that can cover. We have players who can come in, do a good job, you know, see it out for however long they have to be playing, and then we go from there. So obviously, like I've already mentioned, Burnley's not going to be in it an easy game. You know, I think they will be up for it. They will go for it. So yeah, and I think they will stick 10 men behind the ball, like I said already. And I think we will see a very similar Burnley side as we saw against Liverpool. I think it's going to be quite a boring game, but a 1-0 will do me, a 2-1 will do me, 3-2, 4-3, 6-5, anything will do me. So listen, with that said, let's go and get into my predicted lineup. Starting off in goal, David Raya, bringing back in, very straightforward choice for me. Into the back four, left back, Ricardo Calafiori. Been one of our best players this season by a mile, you know. And it goes to show how important he would have been if he was fit for us the majority of last season, because he was out injured for the majority of last season, depending on Miles Lewis, and then we had to start depending on 18-year-old Miles Lewis Skelly. So yeah, but it's so good to see he hasn't got himself injured yet, and I'm fingers crossed he doesn't. But for now, he starts in there straightforward. Into the centre back partnership, first of all, Gabriel, bringing back into the game. I've got no issues with him whatsoever. Probably one of the best defenders in the world at the moment on his current form. I thought Nketiah played fairly decent against Brighton in the cup. He didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't see any mistake from him. So Gabriel is the first choice he returns. Next to him, Christian Mosquera. Again, a bit like Nketiah. I don't think he put a foot wrong midweek, and I think he's kind of got to start because of the absence of William Saliba, this and that, and you know, it's a big role for him, you know, up against the likes of Lyle Foster, you know, Jaden Anthony as well, good players. So be a bit weary, you know. Zach Fleming as well, he's starting to score a few goals recently, but I think he'll have him alright. Right back will be Julian Timber, again, straightforward, bringing him back into the side. He come on against Brighton and we saw how important he was to the way we play, the build-up play, you know, inverting into the midfield, you know. The runs he makes, simple, he's a quality player, it's as simple as that. Into the midfield, Martin Zubimendi, I feel we need to see a lot better from him, you know. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from him, you know. He's looking very slow, he's looking a bit lazy, losing the ball a lot, you know. Some of them can, one day he will be punished for it, you know. It will lead up to a goal where we're thinking about it and we're thinking here at full time, what has Zubimendi just done? You know, he needs to calm himself down because he's panicking, you know. I get, you know, he's still getting used to life in the Premier League, this and that. I understand where he's come from, you know. He doesn't speak a word of English, so obviously he's got to be a bit used to interacting with the players, you know, interacting with the manager. Obviously, it's a new lease on life for him, so obviously, you know, new scenery, this and that. But listen, I think he will become one of the best midfielders in the league, no question about that. But for now, kind of got off his game a bit, but I would start him in this. Just in front of him, Declan Rice. Again, very, very straightforward. No ifs, buts or maybes about it. Straightforward for me. To the attacking three, on the left-hand side will be Trossard. I feel, in the absence of Martinelli, I feel it's quite a straightforward choice. I feel it's quite straightforward, you know. But even when Martinelli's fit, you can tell Trossard is the favourite, you know. Trossard is the one that Arteta looks at and thinks, yeah, I want to play him. I want him to be my starting winger. Which is a bit unfortunate on Martinelli, but you know what? If Trossard goes and wins off the league, I don't care. In the middle, in the 10, Ebere Eze. I feel some moments against Brighton he looked really good, but then there were some moments where I thought you can do a lot better there. Hasn't been the greatest signing, hasn't been bad. Got a goal last weekend, so I hope that can make him kick on. Another goal this weekend would be lovely, but he's got to start in the 10, simple. Over on the right hand side, Bukayo Saka got quite a bit of a rest during the week. Max Dalman coming in doing a fantastic job. We know the qualities of Max Dalman, but when you're up against Bukayo Saka, there's no conversation there. Bukayo Saka starts straightforward. And up front, as the main striker, Victor Gyökeres, come back into the side. You know, getting back in, getting ready to go again. And yeah, listen, start firing in some goals, because it's what we brought him in for. You know, games like this, he's had a week's rest, didn't play midweek, didn't even come off the bench. So he should be ready. He should be ready and raring to go. So yeah, listen, it's another huge game. It's another big game. I'm looking forward to it. You know, to go 7 points clear of Liverpool before they even play. So yeah, listen, if you're new around here, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon. I'm out of here.